Let's say you want to add a new command in there or a macro. Actually, let me do it on this one. Macros. I want my select last to be there. I got a lot of stuff, but in fact, I even have going to the two previous sheets. So let's do select last two. Add it there. Modify. I'm gonna give it an icon. The 8-ball. Okay, magic 8-ball. Okay. Now, if I want to go to the two sheets before I visit, apparently I haven't gone anywhere yet. But all right, all right. Now, before we start, first question: what is time value of money? What do you think it is? This, when we're discussing something, there is no right or wrong or stupid answers. Actually, there is a stupid answer, the one you didn't give. Similarly, there are no stupid questions except the one you didn't ask. Okay. Anybody else? I just want to know what you're thinking about it. What do you understand when I say time value of the money? I mean, you must have heard this term in your accounting classes, or if you took basic personal finance. They didn't cover any time value of the money in your Excel class? No. Why would, I mean, you brought a new approach to general relativity. Yes, time is not absolute, but not in that sense. Time value of the money simply means $1 today is not the same as $1 tomorrow or $1 1 year from now. Okay, it's simple. I've been raised as an economist. The only reason I teach finance because you eat better if you teach finance compared to economics. But I always consider myself an economist. In fact, finance is a subdiscipline of economics. You know, when I say this to my PhD advisor, he would get mad, but it is what it is. Okay. Um, as an economist, I'm gonna assume a word. We assume a lot of stuff, and you're gonna believe these assumptions. A, I am completely credit worthy. If you loan me the money, you are guaranteed to get your money back. Uh, consider me as U.S. Treasury. Okay. You're probably thinking there's no guarantee that U.S. Treasury would pay me. You would be wrong. No government would ever default on a loan that is denominated in the currency it has authority to print. Technically, U.S. Treasury does not have the authority to print paper currency, but a lot of people don't know. By law, they can mint coins, and there's no limit on the denomination on that coin. If Treasury wanted to completely get rid of the entire U.S. national debt, tomorrow they could mint a coin as big as this computer screen and call that $1 trillion. That is lawful. And print 32 or 35 of them, take it to the Federal Reserve. As soon as Treasury prints that, it is legal tender. Federal Reserve tells them, okay, you got $35 trillion in your account. You can do whatever you want with it. All the debts will be paid. Of course, that will create 2,000% inflation, but that is a separate issue. All right. So assume I'm U.S. Treasury. I will pay anything you loan to me. And I'm also guaranteeing that there will not be any inflation. Or we could put the loan in real terms. Let's say you measure your wealth in terms of gallons of gas. So if you lend me money that buys 40 gallons of gas right now, okay, you can kind of do it. If you have a Shell card, you can do that on a 252, even less. So if you lend me $1,000, let's round things up, that buys you 40 gallons of gas. Okay, I told you that I'm going to pay you back exactly the same amount 1 year from now, either $1,000 or, if you're worried about inflation, 40 gallons of gas. And you know that you lending me the money or not is not going to affect your grade one way or the other. Who's going to lend me that $1,000 or 40 gallons of gas worth of money right now, knowing that I'm going to pay you exactly the same amount 1 year from now? Who would be willing to loan me that money? This is somewhat of a rhetorical question. I know none of you would. In fact, none of you should. In fact, if there were some, I could already give you your F and you can leave, okay? Because there's a good reason for that. Okay, now I know that you guys don't like me at all. Why aren't you lending me that money without any extra payoff from me? I'm good for it. You know that. Anyone? Why wouldn't you do that? You go ahead. What are you gaining from it? Okay, you're getting warm. How about? No, I already told you that's not the issue. Whatever $1,000 buys today, I'm guaranteeing it's going to buy the same amount. More generally, you could do something with it. Okay, yeah, invest. You can invest it in some sort of financial security, or you can invest it in the utility that you're going to derive from your brand new iPhone 17, which is, as I'm going to show you guys on Wednesday, relatively costly investment, or it costs a lot to future yourself, future Justin. Okay, but that doesn't matter. I can't judge you. To you, buying that iPhone 17 gives you utility, pleasure, or other things. I don't know, whatever you get from it, doesn't matter. I mean, just like I said, I don't care what you believe in. You could believe that cream cheese is a holy product. That's fine with me, as long as that's your own belief. So you're going to do something with it. In fact, in economics, we have a special name for that. We call that opportunity cost. Okay? By loaning me that money, you automatically are giving up the best thing that you could have done with it. That has a cost to you. Sometimes that cost is monetary. You could have invested into a treasury bill. It pays you maybe 5%, something like that. Or you could have invested into a stock that could make you 1,000%, or that could make you lose half of your money. Doesn't matter. When you make that investment, you believe you're going to make that money. Is there anybody who would buy a stock believing that they would lose money? No. I mean, nobody's that dumb. Okay, you don't even have to be educated for that. You do it. I mean, you could be misguided. You could be completely delusional, but that doesn't matter. You believe that that stock is going to make money. So by loaning me that money, you gave up that. That's opportunity cost, which means you want to charge me something for it. Okay? We call that interest. And depending upon your religion, interest may even be, against God's, Allah's, Buddha's law, whoever your deity is. In fact, under some of the interpretations, most of the interpretations of Islamic law, interest should be illegal. That's called haram. Haram means forbidden. Okay. You're thinking, well, if that is the case in places like Saudi Arabia, Qatar, Bahrain, where Islamic law is kind of dominant, there should not be any financial markets whatsoever. I mean, who would lend somebody else money knowing that they're not going to get anything out of it? In fact, certain people only lend in gold so that they get their money back in gold. I mean, my parents and some of my siblings are devout Muslims. I was brought up as a Muslim, but I'm more of a, as we call it in Turkish, Zindik, which is close to being a heretic, almost an unbeliever. But they believe that's a sin. So when they lend money to each other, they measure it in amount of gold it could buy. That's how much have they paid. So the trouble is that's only an inflation issue. Even in gold, I should be paid interest. I'm going to kind of make a moral case. Moral, not in the sense of religions or kind of the societal values, moral and political science sense. If you lend me money and it costs you something, you need to be compensated for that. That is the moral justification for having interest in the first place, right? So, given that $1 today is not the same as $1 tomorrow, why? Because think of the entire world economy. If there are the total of, let's say, $100 trillion worth of money that was lent, well, somebody borrowed that money. The net sum is zero, right? And what is the opportunity cost to the economy? Well, by lending you that money, I basically did not participate in the growth of the economy. So expected growth rate would be opportunity cost. In fact, in the long term, at least, you should expect the real interest rates, the interest rates after you took expected inflation into account, to be very similar to the expected growth rate of the economy. In fact, we kind of used that a little bit to figure out what's a good price earnings multiple for the overall stock market index. We'll discuss it when we get there in chapter 7. All right. So if there is real interest